Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Stephanie again, of course. Feel free to, subscribe, leave a comment. I love them. Don't troll. So anyway, last night we saw the first reviews come in for Soylo, a Star Wars story, and they ain't good. They ain't really bad, but they ain't really good. And, it doesn't really look good for this fourth movie. People, I want to talk about this before I get into my main subject. People are saying, it was a movie we didn't need. Somebody on Twitter was crying that they should have made a movie about Leia. I don't think we need movies about any of them. I would be just as upset with that because they probably use that sleazeball Claudia Gray's novel and turn Leia into somebody she's not, just like it looks like they did the same thing with Han. Who would they cast? Here's the deal. The most important thing I think in this movie right now, these movies right now, is who they cast. Alden Ehrenreich is not Han Solo, and I've seen enough people saying that he was the weakest link to be pretty comfortable in saying he never should have been cast as Han Solo. We got Ryan Johnson going, giving it his thumbs up and saying, he ain't doing an impression. It's like, do the fans care if it's an impression as long as it's right? No, they don't. And who says Anthony and Gruber would have done an impression? All right? There's no continuity between Ehrenreich and Ford at all. Some people think Ehrenreich looks like a young Jack Nicholson. I've never thought Jack Nicholson was attractive. He always was kind of creepy looking to me. Some people think that, I think he looks like a discount Hobbit. He had no business playing Han Solo. I don't know how he got the job. That would be, we know how he got the job. Steven Spielberg, as great a director as he is, as great a storyteller, great visual artist that he is, has lost his touch with casting. He was the one that gave us Shia LaBeouf for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And now he's part and parcel of Alden Ehrenreich. And it's like, please, don't help us. Don't. We don't need your help. Anyway, so we pretty much know that Solo is probably going to be a bomb. And also Rotten Tomatoes, if you go in there and try to hit a not interested button, they won't let you do it. And seeing it, Soylo, they won't let you do it. I tried. Maybe somebody else has been able to do it. If you have, let me know. Okay? All right. So, we're going to talk today about what canon is and what it's not. I'm going to give you a little bit of a historical overview, and I might make people angry, but it is basically the only analogy. There'll be two analogies of what canon means, and one will probably make people angry, and I don't care. It's basically historical fact. If you want to argue about it, go argue to the people who were doing it, back in the year, was it 325 AD, all right? So what is canon? Canon is a set of books or rules or a standard criterion. Recognize sacred books. Recognize books of an author, the works of an author that have been accepted as authentic. Think about Shakespeare. That's one analogy. It is also, and basically, we'll go back into church history because this is a good analogy of how canon is established. The Council of Nicaea, where Emperor Constantine basically invited all the bishops to come and basically decide what books would be the sacred texts of the Bible. And the Catholic Bible that we have today are the books that they decided on. And then around in the year 500 or so, Martin Luther John Calvin, a few others, and later Joseph Smith and a few others, either added to those books or they took away. They took away books. So what is canon? All right. Canon, if you look at it by the definition, church canon, biblical canon, is the Catholic Bible. Now, a lot of people argue with me, but that's what the definition is. Okay, so let's talk about the works of an author that have been accepted as authentic. Shakespeare. We have his plays, we have his sonnets. These are the ones that are in my book, over in the bookshelf, that are accepted by scholars as being his authentic works. So now we're talking about Star Wars. So what is Star Wars? All right, let's talk about who the author is. We know the author, that the man that created it, is George Lucas. Okay, so anything that he wrote, anything that he had anything to do with at all, by the definition, any official recognized sacred books, a standard criterion, a principle or a general rule, the works of an author that have been accepted as authentic, anything George Lucas had anything to do with is canon. That goes from Star Wars itself, the first novel, to Clone Wars, the cartoon series. Anything after is, you could call it heresy. So, and that's what Disney basically is it's heresy. It goes against everything, and especially The Last Jedi. It goes against everything that was established that Lucas created, that was established by Lucas or people that he was working with and co-authoring things with. So, when people who call themselves Star Wars fans and love TLJ start freaking out at the majority of us going, this isn't Star Wars, you have to remind yourselves, they don't know what the real canon is. They don't know what the texts are. They don't understand where it came from. You get 40 years along, and there's a change of stewardship. It goes into a stewardship, Kathleen Kennedy, who, in my mind, had never read any of the novels, had never really seen any of the movies, didn't understand any of the movies, didn't understand the lore, what the Force is, what it's not. And basically she has done to Star Wars canon, as Lucas established it, what happened in the Reformation. Okay, and it ain't good. It just ain't good. Okay, you can't change things like that and not have people go, what are you doing? Stop it. That's not Star Wars. Because it's not Star Wars. It's not what it is supposed to be. You cannot democratize the Force. Okay? You cannot say the Force has a gender. It's the Force. It's neither male nor female. It's the Force. You cannot take established characters with these character arcs and destroy them. All right? Now let's look at Soylo. Now, if you had read A.C. Crispin's novels, even Brian Daley's, novels, which aren't nearly as good as Crispin's. They really aren't. I mean, Han in these novels is good. But he's not, I think if you squish that Han with the Han that A.C. Crispin raised up as a kid all the way up to A New Hope, squished them together, you would have Harrison Ford's Solo. All right. So you have this movie that came out. Bad casting as Solo. I mean, it's still just, it's like, are you kidding me? And it basically takes everything that we knew from the actual canon and stands it on its head. Tells the entire story in 2 hours, from redoing the meeting with Chewbacca, which, after seeing the spoiler for that, I'm like, that's not how it went. Chewie wouldn't. To me, it's like Chewie would not owe him anything. I don't think. It has to be more powerful, and I don't know why they couldn't just do what Crispin said happened, which is Han boards a crippled ship, finds a bunch of Wookiee cubs that are being sent to probably Kessel as slaves, and the Wookiee is trying to rescue them. And because of his relationship with Duolani on Gareth Shrike's pirate ship, whatever, he couldn't do anything to Chewbacca. He was ordered to kill the Wookiee, skin the Wookiee, and bring the hide pelt back to his commanding officer, and he wouldn't do it. And that's how he eventually, because he ends up stunning his commanding officer, that's how he ends up being court-martialed and kicked out of the Imperial Navy. So everything that he wanted in his life, that respectability. This is not a man who, and this is what really pisses me off, because they don't understand who the character is, as Lucas had set him up to be. Han wanted to be respectable. All right, when you meet him at the end of Paradise Snare, he's going off to the Imperial Naval Flight Academy at Karita. All right, this is his way out of this underworld existence that he doesn't want to be part of. Okay, so at the beginning of the Hutt Gambit, it's after he'd been kicked out, after he rescued Chewie. Chewie won't leave him alone. He's driftless. He doesn't know where to go. He lost everything he wanted in his life, and including at the time this girl named Bria Theron, who eventually comes back and screws him over even more. Okay, so we've got this. I know the whole story, and it just is not the guy that we meet in A New Hope at all. There's no connection to that. The guy that Crispin created, or added the backstory to, has a streak of decency and longing to not be where he is. Whereas this guy, I have no idea who that is, but it is not Han Solo. And Larry Kasdan should have known better, okay? First off, again, it's the casting of Alden Ehrenreich. Just bad. Second of all, the story just sounds stupid and dumb. Reviewers are calling it boring. Some of the stuff that we've seen with the Kessel Run, that looks pretty cool. Is it the only Kessel Run? Again, he didn't just make one. When he was working for Jabba, he made a lot of them. All right? So the idea that it was just one time, to me, is, and how he won the Falcon, it wasn't the way it looks. All right? He actually went to a Sabacc tournament in Cloud City and did it. And Lando said, okay, here's my marker, what do you want? Any ship I got. And after Han beat him to win the tournament, he looked at him and said, I want the Falcon. That's how he got the Falcon. All right? And the Falcon is not a new ship, it's an old ship. Okay? It's about 100 years old when we see it in A New Hope. So this whole new with all the blue stuff and all the rest of that, or maybe it is old and Lando revamped it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like, the Falcon. So anyway. And so I don't look at this Solo movie as canon. TLJ is not canon. Even TFA is not canon. If you look at it by what the definition is of what canon is. By the definition, Star Wars canon would be anything that George Lucas had anything to do with. But because he was never allowed to be a consultant in any of these movies, except for maybe Solo, but even then, he didn't have creative control over it. They're not canon. And we don't have to accept them as that. We don't have to accept their reasons for it to be canon. For Disney's a garbage dump to be canon. And the fact that it looks like Soylo is going to bomb, hopefully they'll get the message. I mean, I really do see Kennedy and a few other people leaving because this movie won't be a success. Okay, it probably won't make $100 million. You've got an 85% interested in going. What is that going to work out to? 50%? On Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. This is the definition of canon when we're talking about Star Wars. The works of an author that have been accepted as authentic. So anything that Lucas touched, that Lucas controlled, that Lucas said go with God on, that's canon. Anything he was kept away from, anything that he wasn't able to touch, is not canon. Okay? So I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to ruminate on that. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's talk about this. What does it mean? What is accepted and what isn't in Star Wars lore and canon? All right. So this is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.